Hello, World Wide Web. It's Marlon O'Bennett. Welcome, guys, to day 16 of the Internet Lifestyles 90-Day Video Challenge. Guys, listen up. Today I want to talk a little bit about attrition. Um, when I went to the Army back in oh gosh, how long has it been? When I went to the Army back in 1984, one of the things, it's funny, one of the things, I joined the Army because I really wanted to travel. And I wanted an opportunity to be able to, further my education. And I knew the Army would do that. So when I went to the recruiter, they were pushing United States paratroopers at the time. There was a big push on paratroopers. They were trying to recruit people to go airborne in the United States Army. I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to be an engineer or a cook. But the recruiter, he convinced me that the only way I could get in at that time was to be, to enlist, to go to jump school and be a paratrooper. And in that training, he said, I wouldn't have to commit to it, but I had to at least enlist, as a person that was enlisted to go to the 82nd Airborne, not 82nd Airborne Division necessarily, but to go through jump school because they were really needing paratroopers. So I did it, right? So first and foremost, I get through 10 grueling weeks of basic training. And I can tell you, for anybody who ever been in any branch of the military, you guys know what that's like. But at the end of our basic training, we would go on to what they call our AIT, which is Advanced Individual Training for whatever your MOS was. That would be your military occupational specialty. You go on and you finish that. But then because I was airborne, quote unquote, I went to jump school right after my AIT training. Now, let me tell you, people, jump school was only 3 weeks long. And now you're talking about a young guy, 21 years old, who'd never even been on a plane, who is now looking at jumping out of one inside of 3 weeks. Now, let me tell you this. I said I wanted to talk about attrition. The classes, they recruit these classes. The class size is about 800 strong in the beginning. You got 800 potential paratroopers coming to Fort Benning, Georgia for this training, right? A 3-week course. They learn how to jump out of C-130s, C-141s, Chinooks, and or Huey helicopters. I think they still had the C-5s then. I'm not sure. So anyway, you got 800 people going through a 3-week course. Let me tell you why they brought so many people into these 3-week courses. Because they knew what the attrition rate was like. The first week, all you do, well, you're running all the time anyway. But the first week is called ground week, okay? All your training basically is done on the ground. You're doing, you name it, you're doing it, okay? You're exercising. First of all, you're up about 0400. And you get up early in the morning, and you're probably up until, your last formation is probably around 1800. That's 6 o'clock in the evening. By the time you finish training, you're so tired. All you want to do is eat and go to sleep. By the end of that first week, before we even really got into the hard part, we had probably lost just a little less than a third of that 800 people inside 1 week. Let's move to the second week. By the time the second week came, that was Tower Week. That's when you practice, exiting. They put you up, they take you guys, they break you up in teams, and you start kind of getting Gardarus Mark 250-foot tower where you learn, what the recoil is going to be like when your chute opens. And, you're practicing jumping. You're practicing exiting an aircraft while in fight, but you're hooked up to this cable. And, it's a long story. But anyway, another very grueling week. Now, mind you, every week from the time we started, we're running a minimum 5 miles a day. Each week, that will increase by 2 miles, I believe. So now we're up to the second week, and we're running 7 miles a day, and we're doing all this crazy training, particularly the tower. By the end of Tower Week, we had lost about another third of that 800 people. So now that 800 is down to, I'm going to say, probably just a little over 450, almost half, right? Move forward to the last and final week of jump school. This is the week where all you're going to be doing now is jumping out of a C-130 or C-141 aircraft. That's all you're going to do. You're going to do your runs. You're going to run about 8 miles every day until you get, and then you're going to have to make one jump every single day, Friday being the last day. One jump on Monday, one jump on Tuesday, I believe one jump on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, one night, one day, and then of course when you jump on Friday, you land on the DZ. The thing is, if you can get up and walk away after that 6th jump, they pin your wings on you and you graduate jump school. Now, before we even boarded the plane, the aircraft now in the 3rd week, remember we're down to almost less than half of what we brought in now, for this training, 800 people. We're down to just a little over 400, probably right around that. Before we even get on the board the planes, we lose, I would say, about a little less than a third of what we had left, because people just couldn't do it. I'm talking about people who were literally on the green ramp, hooking up, putting their parachutes on, getting ready to board the aircraft, get on and go jump. Right there on the green ramp, a lot of people just threw up their hands and said, I'm not going to do this. By the time we graduated jump school, we were probably down to just a little over 200, maybe 300 people. We lost somewhere upwards of 400 some odd people in 3 weeks. Right? And the Army, the recruiters, they know this. They know that during this training, we're going to lose a lot of these people. We're going to lose some of them to the physical aspect of the training. We're going to lose the others in the psychological aspect of the training. But they knew it. This is why they bring so many people in. They know they want to graduate right around 200 people, just like clockwork, every cycle. And it's the same thing when we jump into getting into business online. A lot of people think you're just going to go out here and, you're going to start making all this money and woohoo, hey, it's going to be, no. The attrition rate for a lot of these MLMs and business money-making opportunities online, the attrition rate is very high. Because most people don't have the wherewithal to stick to. They don't stick to it. They get in, and sometimes their expectations are not what they need to be, and so they quit before they even get started. Oftentimes, so some of them start and then they lose that, and they fall by the wayside. It's so typical. Now, I want to say 2 things before I sign off. Number 1, I don't care what business you decide to get into. I don't care what you decide to do, whether it's going to be here with ILN with us or whether it's going to be somebody else. Unless you commit, unless you understand that the only place that success comes before work is in the dictionary, and you're willing to implement the training that we're going to provide for you guys here, you may as well not even start at all. Okay? I promise you, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Okay? It's worth every bit of the membership if you're serious. I remember saying to you guys, when I first got involved in network marketing or internet marketing, or just a little over 18 months ago, I was one of these people potentially. I did it for a while and then I got frustrated. I got mad. And then I got serious. And when I got serious, I committed to different platforms with mindset, marketing, and training. And when I did that, I started getting results. And then that light bulb went off. And when the light bulb went off, I realized, hey, if I put the work into this thing, I can make it happen. If somebody else can do it, I can do it. That's the same thing I felt about jumping out of planes. I had one of my drill instructors tell me, you'll never be a paratrooper. You know what? Up until the time he told me, I may not have been. But it was him saying that you never will be. That just ignited a fire inside of me. Then I was just out to prove him wrong. I proved, yeah, I will be a paratrooper just because you said I couldn't. Now, that may not be the necessary right reason to do a particular thing, but that's just how I was at 21-year-old. Very cocky, very like, hey, I'm going to show you that I can. But I will tell you that it's nothing wrong with it when it's in the right, when you keep things in perspective. So just know this, people. We've got the training. The only thing that's missing is you and your ability and your willingness to commit. You put those things together with the training that we have inside, the mindset, the marketing. There's no way you can lose. Just know that you got to be in it to win it. That's just my 2 cents. Don't spend it in all place. And as always, I like to tell people, you don't have to be great to get started, but you have to get started to be great. As always, this is Marlon O. Bennett, wishing you guys wisdom, peace, prosperity, and to an internet lifestyle without limits. Until next time.